This is not a monthly show anymore. I don't know why. It's just I just haven't felt like doing it or something. I don't know. It was mostly because I was working night shift or day shift rather. So I'd go home. I'd go to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then go about my day. I just didn't really feel like doing it on the weekend or whatever. So I've had this stockpile of records. Really not that many actually, but enough to bother me. I almost, you're gonna hate me for this. I almost considered not even doing this. I was gonna skip out, but well, we're here, aren't we? When was the last time I did this? I think in July or so, maybe June. The months, they just blur together. They're nothing anymore. It's just been March, and now it's September. And anyway, the first record I got is Retreat from the Sun by That Dog. That Dog is a band, one of the 90s alt rock girl bands. I feel like that's kind of a pejorative thing to say. Alt rock band with a girl singer, It's actually a pretty good album. Pretty good, maybe even bordering on great album. It's got it's got the I actually don't really know what like the big That Dog hits are. What does it say on here? First time ever on vinyl. It doesn't really say. This is a Third Man record. Third Man Records pressing. This is I guess the first time it's ever been on vinyl. Which is cool. It's always a little more exciting when a release is finally getting on vinyl, or like it's been repressed for the first time in forever. But it's just on standard black. If I had to pick some favorite songs from this album, I actually re-listened to this a few weeks ago, and it holds up pretty well. It's not just one of those like, oh, that was cool, and then you never listen to it again. This has got some standout tracks. Mostly the first side is definitely better than the second side, but it's still a pretty solid album. Like Never Say Never is good. Being With You is great. Gagged and Tied, great. Minneapolis, also a good one. Yeah, I'd give this a listen if you like 90s alt rock and whatnot. They got those like heavy guitars that you hear from a lot of the 90s alt rock bands. But they have their own sound. I'm not trying to say that they sound generic or anything. Next up this was a freebie from Brian. It's a Japan compilation record. I haven't listened to much Japan. And he just like, I think he just like got this not knowing it was a comp, and he apparently doesn't like to collect comps. I don't really care. And just gave it to me. So thanks, Brian. I still need to listen to this. Apparently, we went to school with this guy's daughter. I didn't know that, but apparently he lives in New Hampshire. So that's a neat fact. Don't you think that's a neat fact? Anyway, next record is Time's End by the Materia Collective. This was kind of I saw this at Bull Moose a little while ago, and great, the Obi strip is going to come out. Yeah, this is kind of a tight squeeze. I saw this at Bull Moose a little while ago and kind of impulse bought it. It was $40, so I mean, I'm not going to say I regret it or anything, but it was one of two. There was a second one that I don't remember what it was called, but it's a collection of orchestra covers of Zelda Majora's Mask songs, in case you couldn't tell. It's actually really nice packaging. It's very strong, and it's got this kind of glossy insert of the Majora's Mask, which is cool. People always draw the Majora's Mask as if it's like wooden, and it's been a long time since I've seen the game, but I was always under the impression that Majora's Mask was metallic. I don't know, just a small thing, it doesn't really matter. Um, both discs are gold, which is kind of cool. Although gold is kind of more Majora's Mask. It's kind of more Ocarina of Time's thing. So I probably would have gone with purple vinyl, but whatever. Again, these are such like nitpicks, right? Like who fucking cares? But this looks a little weird. This is the Happy Mask Salesman, I think. And like I think I get what they were going for, but I don't know. That's a little strange. Skull Kid here, he looks pretty cool. I only listened to a little bit of this. I just haven't really been listening to a lot of records recently for whatever reason. I usually listen to them when I'm writing a video or something. And here's another one I think of the Skull Kid, which is neat. So yeah, I don't know if these are worth $40 because this is only one of two. There's a second one that I think has the Deku Scrub mask on it or something, and that's also $40. So if you want the full package, you're looking to spend about $80. And apparently people were having trouble even getting this. I just waltzed into a store and picked it up, but like people who ordered this online apparently still haven't gotten it, which is a little concerning. I don't know. Kind of cool nonetheless. I'm not really. I always wonder how these licensing things work because I know Nintendo doesn't fucking press their own game soundtracks on vinyl, but like these must be official in some way. Like I guess they get permission. I think it's kind of like song licenses in games. Or just anything. It's like it costs one thing to get permission to use the song, and then it's another thing to get permission to use the performance of the song, the specific performance. Very strange, very dumb. Speaking of very strange and dumb, I'm probably gonna spend forever fumbling with this. Fantastic. There's only so much time I can fill, you know. Come on. We're gonna do it later. I give up. I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. This next one is a surprise. Well, technically it's not mine, but it's the Law's self-titled. I believe this is the first pressing of this album. If you've never listened to the Law's self-titled album, do yourself a favor and listen to it right now because it is one of the best one and done albums you will probably ever listen to. It's got all sorts of great. It's kind of like jangly Brit pop, I guess I'd call it, or like British indie pop. It's kind of before the whole like Oasis thing, but it came out around the same time as like the Stone Roses, so and stuff like that. But if you never heard of the Laws, you've probably heard of There She Goes, and this album is where it's from, and it's just a really like great album. I don't know what else to say. It's pretty quick too. It's only 12 tracks, but they're all pretty short except for the final track, which is a excuse that. Except for the final track, which I think is around like 7 minutes or so. But I actually really like the final track because it incorporates a lot of like musical stings and like motifs from earlier tracks in the album. It makes it really feel like like the finale almost. Yeah, give this album a listen. Fucking incredible. Next up, I won't spend too much time on this because I feel kind of bad. This is As Tall as Lions, the 2006 self-titled album from As Tall as Lions. This is a pressing from 2014, I think. You can tell because it's got the die-cut cover, which is cool. And then the inner sleeve is the actual album cover. And it's on this on this like half splatter, half red uh, vinyl. Now, when I got this off Discogs, and when I ordered it, I ordered the blue version, and then the guy told me that he actually wasn't. He thought he thought it was the blue version, but now he's not so sure. He thinks it could be the red version. Now, personally, I didn't really care. I kind of just wanted the record, and apparently the red version, the one I have, is actually a little cheaper or more expensive rather. So no, all in all, not a bad come up. I think I spent like maybe $40 or something on this. Maybe 30. I don't remember. I bought this back in. I might have actually bought this back in like July. So been a long time. But then I got a gift from my sister, and she felt so bad about this. Everyone in the comments, you gotta cheer her up, because she got me an earlier pressing of the As Tall as Lions self-titled album. Not only that, but she also got a fucking signed version of it, and she's like disappointed that I already have it, but like, come on, this is way better. Come on. Something I actually don't like about the original, or about this pressing, is actually, it does actually have to do with the die cut. Like, the die cut outer sleeve is cool and all. It's actually getting a little fucky up here. It's cool and all, but the fact that this is the inner sleeve, well, first of all, it doesn't have the name of the band on here at the bottom. And also, I actually kind of like this cover art. It's a bit of like a hodgepodge, but when it's covered by the die cut sleeve, you kind of can't really like see it that much. Also, there is no inner sleeve for the record, so it's kind of just exposed there. This may sound like I'm looking for things to get mad about with this thing, but not that I hate this version or anything. It's cool. I just prefer the one my sister got me, and not just because my sister got it for me, but because it is cooler. It is cooler. It's fucking signed, for Christ's sakes. It also has the inner sleeve has lyric sheet. It's one of those lyric sheets where it's just like the words just keep going. But at least it's not like the fucking Violent Femmes inner sleeve where it's just chicken scratch lyrics that keep going like this. Like it's just a run-on sentence. But this actually came with a MoFi sleeve. The version she got. I don't think it originally comes. I think the person who owned this before just put it in here. Like, yeah, this is like a sky blue. I actually like this color quite a bit. I believe it's even somewhat translucent, which is neat. Both versions have the bonus track, which is nice. If you've never listened to As Tall as Lions, you need to rectify that. Listen to this album, because recordpressing.com. I'm looking at the Matrix. This self-titled album is excellent. It is an excellent piece of like that like mid 2000s indie rock scene. Just something about it. I don't know. It just has something that other bands I've heard of don't, and people don't really seem to talk about As Tall as Lions anymore. Mostly because they broke up in like 2010 or so. Maybe that's why they just don't have. They're not touring and they're not making music anymore. So I guess people just sort of forgot about them, which is a shame, because this album deserves to be talked about more. At least this one. Next up, we have Rocky Vodolado Makers. This is the 2014 10th anniversary, so 2016 Repress. It's on like a gatefold sleeve. This guy is like acoustic crooner sort of music. What was it? The first track on this album, White Daisy Passing, showed up on my Spotify Discover Weekly a long time ago, and I just thought it was a really pretty song. And this whole album's actually really good. It's a bit of a downer. He's got a bit of a downer voice, and the things he sings about usually aren't very fun. But you know, I think put it on a rainy day or something, and I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it a lot. Roach's big sexy hook. I think you're gonna really dig. It's got just a little lyric sheet right here. Just neat. It actually took me a while to get this because I had I had this in my want list for a long time, but every single person who was selling this, despite the fact that this is a Barsuk record, you know, like who are based in like Seattle, people were always, when people were selling this, they were always from like the United Kingdom, and I didn't want to spend the shipping for that. Eventually, I found someone selling it for like under $20, in the States. So I picked that up real quick. Another thing that took me a while that was from the States was this Mo-Fi release of a Weezer live EP, which is The Lion and the Witch. It's from around 2002. Yeah, 2002. So this is right when Maladroit came out. Now, if you've watched this show before, you know that I'm a pretty big fan of Maladroit. And this album, I believe this was recorded, in case you couldn't tell, it was recorded in Japan. And the track listing, it's 6 tracks. It's got Dope Nose, Island in the Sun, Falling for You, Death and Destruction, El Scorcho, and Holiday. Pretty good set list. A pretty good selection for the EP. You know, it's got Dope Nose, which is cool. It's probably one of my favorite tracks off Maladroit. Island in the Sun, you know, it's a fun. Island in the Sun's a good song off Green Album. Falling for You is it's Pinkerton, so of course I'm gonna like it. It's actually a Pinkerton song I've grown to like more over the years. I used to think it was my least favorite track, but now I've grown on it a little more. I actually really like it. El Scorcho is also cool. Death and Destruction, I don't hate Death and Destruction, but I probably would have put off Maladroit. I think Burnt Jam would be really cool in a live setting. It's already a great song. It's probably my favorite song off Maladroit. So I would have replaced Death and Destruction with Burnt Jam. And Holiday. Holiday's probably my least favorite Blue Album song. I've actually really been feeling No One Else. I think No One Else would be really cool. You know what sucks though is they actually tease No One Else in these liner notes right here, and not only that, they say talk about this tour had a lot of these moments as the set list got some heavy switch ups every night for the tour. Across the Sea, Falling for You, and an ellipses. They played Across the Sea on this tour. I assume because they're in Japan, so you know, kind of makes sense. If they put Across the Sea on the set on this EP, it's fucking over. Like, holy shit. But they didn't. I mean, it's fine. As for the record itself, you know, people always say that Mo-Fi's are they're very high quality, and I didn't think it sounded bad. How do I say this? No, it sounded good. It sounded good, but maybe my setup just isn't like up to snuff to really notice the difference. Regardless, it wasn't like I had much of a choice in this regard. Like the Mo-Fi is the only label that's ever pressed this thing on vinyl. So yeah, it's not like I'm complaining or anything. Just musing. Good album. Next up is, all right, this is a little strange because this is technically both of the same album. Now, I got this. Some guy posted on like Reddit or something about how he was doing a sale on his like label for stuff to like pay vet fees for his dog or something. And I was feeling kind of generous, so I bought a test pressing that this guy was selling off his label for, I believe, $50 or so, which is like kind of pricey, but I decided I'd get it. This is wait, hang on. Well, it's Save Us from the Archon. Oh God, Archon. Archon. Save Us from the Archon thereafter. And this is the original album. Now, I bought the test pressing, and they just sent me the original album alongside with it, and I'm actually very, very, very happy they did that. That's really nice of them, and I hope their dog ended up okay. But yeah, the reason I bought this in particular, I'm actually gonna show this one first because this is the one I bought. This is the one I paid for. I bought this in particular because I liked the cover. I thought it looked cool. I've never heard "Save Us from the Archon." I still have not gotten around. Ah, shit. Hang on. I've still not gotten around to listening to this. I think I remember looking them up after. This is like kind of. It's textured. Anyway, I remember looking this up after and hearing that this is like a post. I think it was like post metal band, or something like that. Post metalcore. So I was like, not really something I'd listen to, but. Or not my regular genre, but I'll give it a shot, and I still will give this a shot. And this is the test pressing. It's just on standard black A to Z media test press. See those? I see A to Z media a lot when people are talking about test pressings, so to be expected. There's nothing really else to say about this version. Besides the fact that this is apparently number 30 out of 30 that they made. So, and these are like feet or legs. I didn't notice that. So yeah, this is technically the last one, 30 out of 30, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I'd listen to this. I think this is just like the collection copy, and if I ever decided to listen to this album, I'd use the actual vinyl. And this. Alright, so, here, it actually came with a, well, I don't want to, it actually came with a little note. Thank you so much for your kind words, plus support for Tiny. Tiny can't thank you enough. You're welcome. Here you go, there's the note. I forgot I put that in here. Now, this is on colored vinyl, and this is probably like one of the coolest colored vinyl I've ever seen. This looks fucking awesome. I don't know what else to say. Like, I didn't even know. First of all, I didn't even know I was getting this version too, and when I just saw this, I was like blown away. This looks stellar. I don't know what else to say. I'm fucking at a loss for words. Something about it, I don't know. I think it's the deep blue. I'm a big fan of blue. I think it works really well for vinyl, and when you shine it to the light, it's got a bit of a translucent thing, but against just away from it, it kind of looks like a deep blue. Ooh, that's clean. It's so clean. Wow. So yeah, there's that. I'm actually going to stop the recording right here, regrettably, and start it over again. Ugh. Okay. Next up, this is probably the big release. the big record. You know, I always have to get like one like whoa record, and this is probably the one. And it is the 25th anniversary repress of Elliott Smith's self-titled album. It's both the album. It's got, you know, the original album, just like a little inner sleeve. It's got this cool, like, kind of darkened look, which I actually really like. As much as I love the original album art, it does look pretty classy in this more dark packaging. And it's on like a sky blue. We've gone over how much I like blue vinyl. I just think it works good. The inner, like the inner artwork is great. I can never think of the name for this thing. It looks good. And you put it in like this little sleeve right here inside. Although when it was shipped to me, they were separate. So I thought you just kind of had to like sandwich them in the book. But no, they have little pockets for them, which is nice, which is very forward thinking. Now there's actually another record that comes with. It comes with a live. Let's see. Well, it's one of the downsides of the darkened packaging is it's kind of hard to read. All right, live at. I can't read this, at least not on the spot like this. But anyway, it's dated from September 17th, 1994. So it's almost been 26 years since this recording. Oh, live at Penumbra. Okay, Portland, Oregon. Thank you, Inner Sleeve. So yeah, it's just a concert that he played. I'm actually curious to see what the audio quality is because I can't imagine Elliott Smith was playing in like super high class venues, at least back then. But I think they mentioned that it was taken directly from the soundboard, so it should sound pretty good. Let's see, does it say on here? So this is like kind of the second part. Penumbra in Portland, Oregon was a small cafe, espresso lounge, and art salon known for intimate music performances and readings. So yeah, pretty small venue, obvious. Just be expected. Not that that's a bad thing, you know. All right, Casey Crines provided an excellent recording of this show for the second LP in this book. So thank you, Casey. That's nice of you. All right, on July 21st, 1995, Kill Rock Stars released Elliott Smith's self-titled album. This was his second full-length release under his own name, although in 1994 he had also released 2 albums with his band Heat Miser. Elliott Smith was recorded from 1994 to 1995. That's the name of the album, by the way, not the guy. A time when Elliot was also playing shows with Heat Miser. His friend J.J. Gonson took photos throughout this time period, and this is just like a little booklet with a bunch of photos of Elliot at the time. And of course, like lyric sheets or lyrics for all the songs. Although it's in like Elliot's handwriting, so it's pretty chicken scratchy. But it works with the theme of the album, whatever, because this was written in his handwriting. At least I can only assume. So it works. This is probably my favorite Elliott Smith album. So I was more than happy to pick this up for I think $30, maybe 40. It might have been $40. I got it off Bull Moose, and I actually forgot I even bought this because I think it went up for sale in May, and I received it like a few weeks ago in August. So like I got an email from Bull Moose, and they were like, your order is shipped, and I was like, I didn't order anything, and I look at the email and I was like, oh, I did order that. I completely forgot about that. It's one of those things. I like it when that happens. And stuff like this. Elliott Smith, taken too soon, of course. I don't know if I can waste time and show every single one of these pictures, but it's, you know, it's a cool time capsule to his, you know, what he was going through at the time. Here he is. Here he is, looking with his blue Portland hair. Very funny. It's really interesting because I think he looks quite old, but also not. I don't know how to phrase it. There's also like testimonials from people who knew him at the time in here. So it's a really cool like dive into the scene, the like, you know, Portland music scene as a whole at the time, as well as just Elliott's life. So yeah, I would highly recommend. I actually don't even know if you can buy this anymore. I think you had to pre-order it, but if you're an Elliott Smith fan and you for some reason didn't get this, track it down because it is. This is really good. This is really good, actually. It's got this kind of like felt exterior with like the people jumping, different texture. Very great. I wonder if they're gonna do something for either or. That would be awesome. Next up is, this is interesting. This is a single, a 12-inch, in just like a generic sleeve. And I got this because I think it was like $5 or something off Discogs, and it is Etro Anime's, or Etro Anime, I believe. It's French. Excuse me, French people, for butchering your language yet again. This is a 12-inch single for their song Summer Rain off the album See the Sound. Unfortunately, I believe this is the only Etro Anime material. Anime? I'm overthinking it. Ever since the Flesh Chasemer video, I'm doubting my pronunciations. Yeah, Etro. I'm just gonna say Etro Anime, okay? Etro Anime I actually don't know if they're still together. Were a like New York trip hop, like dance band, I guess would be the right word to use. And my brother actually has this album on CD. Now, I was originally, it always seemed like a strange album for him to have because I had no clue how he could have possibly found out about these guys. I like, you know, it's pretty easy to find new music nowadays, but still, like, you know, there's usually like a source, right? You know, there's usually something that like sparks. It just seemed random to me, and then I found out that Etro Anime did the opening song for the US release of Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. And that's when I was like, oh, so that's how we found out about them. He liked because he played the game. He played Digital Devil Saga and liked the opening song, found the CD, bought it, and now I have their single Summer Rain on vinyl, which is cool. I would love it if the actual album got pressed to vinyl because, excuse me, I gave it out a listen, and that album's actually really good. It's a really good album. I'd give it a listen. Highly recommended for me. You can find them on Bandcamp or something, so, you know, just get the album there. As for this Summer Rain is not my favorite song off the album, but I do like it. This is just a 12-inch. This is just a 12-inch single of just a bunch of different mixes of Summer Rain, so you'll probably be sick of the song if you listen to this whole thing all the way through. I think the only reason this exists is because since they're like a dance band, you could feasibly put this on in a club or something and people could dance to it. And I think vinyl never really died with like club scenes and stuff, so I think that's why. Oh shit! Vinyl never really died with like club scenes and stuff, so I think that's why you see a lot of hip hop 12 inches and stuff like that. This is a promotional copy. It's not for sale. I got it for like $5. So, and you can find this pretty easily on Discogs. So if you're a fan of Digital Devil Saga or something, or just like trip hop, give Etro Anime a listen. They're great. Finally, this is actually pretty new. I got this. I think I got this a few days ago. So if I didn't put this off, you would not be seeing. Oh, I don't know why I did that. You would not be seeing Cage the Elephant's "Thank You, Happy Birthday." It's the second album. This has different art compared to the CD release. I'm actually not really a fan of either album covers for this album, despite the fact that I really like this album a lot. It's probably one of my favorite all indie rock albums from the 2010s. Comes highly recommended from me, of course, like every single thing I fucking say, every single thing I talk about on this show. If I had to pick standout tracks, I'd probably pick Aberdeen, Shake Me Down, obviously, like the singles. Right Before My Eyes is really good, and Around My Head is awesome. Around My Head is probably my second favorite track off the album. It's just a really fun song to sing along to. My favorite though, and this is on the version I had downloaded on like my MP3 player or whatever back in the day, is there was a hidden bonus track at the final song in the album, Flow. Which means Flow was like 8 minutes long, even though the track is less than 4. So it's like an 8-minute song. So you're like, oh, okay, it's a long song, and then there's the silence. So you're like, hidden track. And the hidden track is an acoustic version of Right Before My Eyes. Now, the acoustic version of Right Before My Eyes isn't on Spotify anymore. It used to be, but it isn't. And that bugged me. So when I listened to this, I was hoping that this would have the hidden bonus track, but it didn't. After Flow, the album just ends. So I was like, oh, that's a shame. Not a big deal, but I would have liked it. But there's something I haven't shown yet. I sound exasperated. I'm not. There's something I haven't shown yet. This comes with a one-sided... It's actually kind of cool looking. Oh, shit. It's fine. A one-sided 7-inch for a song called Shiver. So I'm like, okay, Shiver. I've never heard this song before. I put it on because I want to listen to it. It's only 4 minutes and one side, so I really have no reason not to. I put it on. Wouldn't you know it, it's the acoustic version of Right Before My Eyes. So I'm very confused initially because I don't know why they would rename the song if it's just an acoustic version of Right Before My Eyes, but I'm actually really stoked that they included a 7-inch of that version of the song, because this is my favorite song off the album. Yeah, Shiver, I guess. Give it a listen. Look up Cage the Elephant Shiver, or just Right Before My Eyes acoustic, and you'll get it. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise for this album. I think I paid maybe... I got a pretty good deal on this. I think I paid like $25 including shipping. And this is another one of those albums that isn't expensive, but it's rare. It was only pressed once, so you have to find like a 2011 pressing. And as for quality, it sounds fine. No complaints or anything. But I have to wonder. I feel like people don't really talk about this album that much. It seems when people talk about Cage the Elephant, they mostly mention their third album, which I still need to listen to be fair. I don't know if it's better or not than this one. But I always really liked this album the most out of what I've listened to by Cage the Elephant. I think this is just a really awesome album. And that's gonna do it. Honestly, not that many records considering it's been months. But I guess that's just how it is. I haven't been going to the flea market. I've been keeping my head low. I've been tempted to go, but I just haven't. No, I haven't really felt like it. Who knows when the next time I'll do the show? I'm always looking for new records, although I'm kind of toning it back. I'm kind of bringing it back a little bit. I spend a lot of money on records, and I feel like maybe I should, cut back a bit. Until next time, I'll see you all around, and have a good night.